What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Prep Rally Podcast, your go-to huddle for high school sports action in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. I'm your host, Sydney Ruth-Lannon.
I'm Graham Thomas, and Leland Barclay joins us in the River Valley. We've got the highlights, the hype, and of course our Gimmie 5 and Top 5, where we count down the top athletes of the week from the Northwest Arkansas and River Valley Democrat-Gazette.
Whether you're listening on the way to practice or sitting in the stands, we've got something for every high school sports fan. Let's kick it off with this week's biggest wins and wildest finish as we reel it back. Welcome back to the Prep Rally Podcast. We're going to start with this week's recaps.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been scrimmage week, Sydney. And I was out of town all this past week, and I did not get to attend any scrimmages. But I'll tell you what, the biggest one we had in this area, in my opinion, was the Fayetteville Greenwood scrimmage. Yeah. And our guy, Leland Barclay, was right there with the details.
Well, it was really what everybody expected out of Greenwood and Fayetteville, especially with maybe not two of the best quarterbacks in the state, but probably the two best quarterbacks in the state. Of course, Greenwood's Kane Archer, 4-year starter, 26-0 as a starting quarterback. And then the move in from Texas for Fayetteville, Hank Hendricks, both of them put on a show. Kane Archer was 18 of 19 for 256 yards and completed these last 17 passes of the game. Hank Hendricks was 15 of 19 for 272 yards and a touchdown. Greenwood won the half of scrimmage, 21-19. Both teams had 4 possessions. Both teams scored on 3 of them. The difference was a missed extra point by Fayetteville. And both of these teams are definitely state championship quality teams.
Can we ever get these guys to play a real game? Not a scrimmage, but like week 1? Like, let's get it on.
I thought it was great, the back and forth. But I will say a comment about Fayetteville because, we got to connect with them at Media Day. With the move from Hendricks down to Fayetteville, you can just see a lot of the Fayetteville players really rally around him and have so much confidence in him. And I think you really got to see that at this first game against Greenwood. Just them kind of rallying around him. And I think they're going to have a great season. I think what they had been missing, truthfully, in the past year is just a good quarterback, good leader. And I think that's Hendricks for this season for them.
Hey, they're my pick to win the conference. What I want to know, Leland, is you had some question marks about that Greenwood defense. I know they gave up 3 touchdowns and 4 possessions, but I think they're going to be all right, though, aren't they?
Yes. I'm going to get into that a little bit more on the Gimmie 5. But yes, I talked to Coach Gill afterwards. I was eager to talk to him the last couple of weeks, and I thought, no, I'm going to wait until the scrimmage game against Fayetteville, because that's going to be a very telling, test for Greenwood going up against Fayetteville, one of the best teams in the state, maybe the best teams in the state. And the last thing he said to me after we talked about the defense was, we'll be all right. So I think that coming from Coach Gill, I think that says a lot. And you guys talked about Hank Hendricks. I also talked to Coach Vlarovich, the offense coordinator for Fayetteville, and he is really excited about, calling plays and kind of helping that offense this season with Hendricks at the controls. Because Katavion Taylor, we haven't mentioned him much. We've talked about, Bentonville's receivers and, of course, Lindsey from Rogers, but I tell you, Taylor's going to have a big year for Fayetteville.
Well, and we're just kind of sneaking ahead to my top 5. Anyway, we'll move on to the scrimmages at Tulsa Union. A lot of our teams went over to Oklahoma and other parts of Arkansas to scrimmage, but Har-Ber and Bentonville West went to Union. Both of them played pretty well. Har-Ber beat Union 10-3 in their scrimmage. West, I think, lost like 31-28. It was a really high scoring scrimmage. So a lot of good things out of those scrimmages. I'm anxious to see both those teams play for keeps. We're excited about Har-Ber and Coach Aaron Dannenhauer. And we really like Bentonville West. They were a real young team last year with a lot of sophomores and 2 freshmen that started. Everybody's a year older. Then, I talked to Coach Chad Harbison this morning. Rogers scrimmage for a quarter against Cabot and Russellville looked really good. Beat both of those teams. So some good reports coming out of the scrimmages for our 7A teams. Then, with some of the 6A, 5As, Van Buren and Farmington they hooked up. It was 2 days. They were supposed to do it on Tuesday. They ended up on Thursday because of the weather. Of course, the first football, scrimmage night, of course the weather's going to be bad. It hasn't rained in weeks, and we get that kind of response from the Mother Nature.
But that's how you know who really plays the best, is who can tough it out in the weather.
Farmington defeated Van Buren 14-10 in the varsity portion of the scrimmage. They kept going, and I think Van Buren rallied in the second half with the JV group. Southside defeated Alma in the scrimmage. Gravett defeated Siloam Springs 10-0. I mean, there's just a lot of reports coming in from these scrimmages. But I'll tell you, it's just exciting to have football back. Leland went and saw Mansfield, and then he had one of our Oklahoma schools after that. So just a lot of great things to report on these scrimmages. And I'm disappointed I didn't get to see anything last week, but Leland did. He got enough in for me, I think.
Anything to add, Leland?
Well, it was, scrimmage week's always fun. It's kind of like, though, spring ball in May tells us a little bit about the teams. The 7-on-7 and the team camps during the summer, they tell us a little bit more maybe about the teams. The scrimmage games tell us even more, but they're so controlled because nobody wants to get hurt in the scrimmage and have, injuries, that there's no kicking game. And it's just a half. The quarterbacks, as far as sacks and quarterbacks, it's kind of flag football or tag football. So it tells us a little bit more, but it doesn't tell us everything. It just kind of gives us kind of wets our whistle a little bit going into the regular season.
Mm-hmm. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and talk about our sponsor for our show, West Termite. Take control of your pests with West. Whether it's termites, mosquitoes, bed bugs, weeds, or lawn disease, West has the experience serving Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma since 2003. Book your free consultation online today at westtermite.com. After all, West knows pests best.
Boy, that's pretty good there. West knows pests best. I like it. All right, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll get into our next segment, looking ahead to this week's games for Week 0. This is Prep Rally. We are back on the Prep Rally podcast. Graham Thomas and Sydney Ruth Mulvannon here in the studio in Fayetteville, Leland Barclay in the River Valley. And so let's take a look ahead. It's Week 0, Northwest Arkansas, River Valley High School football starting up. And we'll start up here in Northwest Arkansas, a couple of big games that we've got our eyes on. And look, they're all big games, Sydney. I mean, you got Broken Arrow at Har-Ber, Bentonville at Union, North Little Rock at Rogers, Cabot and Fayetteville, there's Siloam and Rogers Heritage. There's we could spend a whole podcast just talking about all these games. We're just going to highlight a couple of these, kind of with some interest around the state. North Little Rock at Rogers. Brad Bolding makes his return to North Little Rock, where he had the Charging Wildcats as one of the best teams in the state before they fired him. And ironically, they have brought him back under the same things which they fired him for, which was being able to get athletes to come to his school. So he's been tasked with turning North Little Rock around after a very successful run at Little Rock Parkview. Mm-hmm. Rogers is going to be a really good team, and they're going to have their hands full with a very different North Little Rock team.
It'll be different to see if they can change around their season from last year.
Cabot is coming up to play Fayetteville at Harmon Field. We'll see. We'll get a good look at Cabot for sure, and definitely a good look at Fayetteville. Bentonville is going to get their oil checked really early with a trip to Tulsa Union. And as we said, Broken Arrow is coming over to play Springdale Har-Ber, which looked really good in their scrimmage. So I'm looking forward to it. And then in the River Valley, I think Leland may have just as good of a lineup. Tell us what we got, Leland.
Well, Bentonville West at Greenwood is a big one. Of course, the opening week of the season, week 0 in the River Valley, has been recently rivalry week, and it's the same way this week. But I tell you, the Bentonville West Greenwood game is certainly an intriguing one to kick off the season as well. Two very good offenses, two very good teams. Of course, we talked about Kane Archer. His name we'll probably mention every single week of this season. Trey Thompson, kind of an unsung guy, quarterback for Bentonville West. West won a playoff game last year, so they're going to have plenty of momentum. Big game. Northside and Rogers, the Battle of Rogers Avenue. We have the Battle of the Bone, Alma at Van Buren, which this year kind of takes on a little more significance. It's part of the Great American Rivalry Series. It's only the 6th game in the last 22 years history of the Great American Rivalry Series, where they highlight the top rivalry games across the nation. And they'll be at Van Buren, Blakemore Field on Friday night to do some special things there. So that's a big thing for that rivalry. Northside Southside has twice been a part of that program's history as well, with 2 games that they've highlighted through the years. So big games there. One that's maybe flown under the radar a little bit. Bismarck at Mansfield. Bismarck played in the state championship game last year. Mansfield, went to the semifinals for the 2nd year in a row. So that's a huge non-conference game between 2 teams with a lot of expectations going into the season. And then in Oklahoma, we've got the Battle of 64, Muldrow and Roland. So lots of big games in the River Valley as we kick off high school football.
2 things there. So Bismarck and Mansfield opened the season last year and had a barn burner of a game. Bismarck won like 35-31, something like that. And that could be a potential state championship preview. You just never know.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, Leland, I don't know who we got to talk to. We've got to get the Battle of the Bone back on a Thursday night. This is just not okay. On Thursday night special, Thursday night football is just a really cool thing on the opening week of the year. So Drew Cohn, Coach Burns and Alma, y'all listening? Thursday night next year.
I still say Friday.
But see, Thursday night, then you can go to the Battle of the Bone and then go to another game on Friday.
No, it's nice having football on a Friday, because then the next day it's college football. It all goes into a beautiful order, okay? I don't need that gap in between.
And I get Friday night lights, but, from a selfish point of view, I love the Battle of the Bone on Thursday night and the Battle of Rogers Avenue on Friday night, because it gives me 2 games to go to.
That's a perfect segue into who you got. We're going to go kind of fast on these guys. So, Sadie, you have a statement to read, though, on was it the Northside Southside game, or was it Battle of the Bone?
Battle of the Bone?
Okay.
No, it's Bentonville at Tulsa Union.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'll tell you what, we'll save that one for last. So we'll just start Battle of Rogers Avenue. Leland, who you got?
Well, I think Southside's experience is definitely the difference in this game. Southside.
Southside for me, too. In the Battle of the Bone, Leland?
Van Buren wins this one in a close one. Both teams very inexperienced, lost some great players from last year's thriller. 4th quarter rally by Van Buren in that game. The rosters have changed a lot, or not really the rosters. The starting lineups have changed a lot in this game, and I'll go with Van Buren. Came up heads, Van Buren.
I'm going Van Buren at home as well, and they've got kind of a streak going in this, so I expect them to extend that out. Bentonville West at Greenwood, I'll go first here. Who you got? I mean, I've got Greenwood. I know Bentonville West played well against them in 7-on-7. I just don't see them being able to slow down Greenwood at Greenwood. Give me Greenwood.
Yes. I'm thinking about this. Well, since we're talking about Greenwood, our first episode of Prep Rally Road Trip Football Edition comes out this week on Thursday. Make sure you watch it. It's about the Greenwood Bulldogs. But since we are talking about the Greenwood-Bentonville West game, it's a great time more than ever to announce our second episode is going to be about Bentonville West.
Oh, how about that?
Nice segue. You see what I did there?
I like that. Who you got, Leland?
Well, and yes, I know Coach Gill, the defense coordinator at Greenwood's, much more optimistic now than he was in May during spring ball when he even admitted that he was a little scared after seeing his defense in the spring. But I think this is a matter of first team to 50 wins, Greenwood.
You know what? I'll be the odd one out here, and I'll say Bentonville West.
Okay.
Do I believe that? To be continued.
Bentonville West does have a good team, I'll tell you that.
They do.
North Little Rock at Rogers, I think North Little Rock is going to be back. I don't know if it's going to be this week, but they're going to get better this year, and they're going to keep getting better as long as Brad Bolding's head coach, but they're not going to beat Rogers on Friday night. I go Rogers. Leland, who you got?
And you're right. North Little Rock is going to be back, but not yet. Rogers.
Sydney?
Rogers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Bentonville at Tulsa Union. I love the Bentonville Tigers, y'all. I just, I've got a long history with the Bentonville Tigers before there was ever a Bentonville West. Love me some Bentonville West, too. They've got a tough chore ahead of them. So here's their inspiration. I'm picking Tulsa Union to beat Bentonville on Friday night. Sydney, what you got?
Tulsa. Oh, that was a.
Actually, we're saving you for last. Leland, who you got?
Well, again, I love the matchups. I love the scheduling. First time out for Coastal Pecky. So I think that might make a little bit of a difference. Tulsa Union.
I'm gonna say Bentonville.
How about it?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought y'all were gonna go Bentonville route, but I'm gonna say Bentonville just because last year Union won 42-35. It was a close
in
game.
Overtime. I was there.
So
Tough loss.
I think it's going to be a first game redemption for Bentonville. I think they're going to come out strong. And also I'm excited to see the two Razorback commits play as well.
I like a good pick. I like that.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we get into the Gimmie 5, we want to remind everyone that NWAOnline.com and River Valley Democrat-Gazette.com are the premier spots to get all the latest news on all high school sports. Additionally, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Prep Rally Pod, where we share exclusive interviews with players, and we have a little fun over there, right, guys?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Absolutely.
Now let's take it away with this week's Top 5.
Leland, you're up, man.
Gimmie 5. All I'm doing for the Gimmie 5 in the River Valley this week is kind of recapping what we did in Sunday's River Valley Democrat-Gazette, where we kind of went back over and went over scrimmage week again. Number one, the Greenwood defense, talking to Jason Gill, they're going to be better than maybe we thought they were. He's not worried anymore like he was in May. And I'll tell you a guy to watch out for on their defense this year. Senior defensive end Cody Johnson is going to be the guy to watch for, and he's going to make a difference for that Greenwood defense. That's going to be much better than maybe what we thought after losing so many guys from last year. He's a returning starter. Number two, we talked about the 3A1, Mansfield, Boonville, Charleston. The guys that are going to make a difference for those guys, watch out for senior fullback Andrew Burton in the scrimmage on Thursday night. First carry of the game, 39-yard touchdown run. Second carry of the game, 39-yard touchdown run. His first three carries, he had 99 yards, finished with 5 carries for 114. He's going to have a big year as a fullback in that offense for Mansfield. Boonville, senior linebacker Hunter Warren is going to be able to concentrate and play defense, hopefully exclusive. They've kind of been working a couple of guys at fullback. They feel good about those guys. That's going to allow Hunter Warren to get some rest, although he'll still play some fullback. He's going to concentrate, and Boonville wants him to concentrate as a premier linebacker in the state. Charleston, senior quarterback Carter Little. Wow, he's going to have a big year. And those three guys right there are going to be just tremendous to watch out for in the 3A1. Number 3, Northside, Alma, Buren, a takeaway. They're very young, very experienced, all three of them. But senior center Kevin Gonzalez for Northside, he's going to be an anchor for that offensive line, and he's going to be a key for them, especially with running backs Jaleel Coven and also Warren Bijou. Both of them had big runs in the scrimmage. So that offense is going to be pretty good to watch, and it's going to start with Gonzalez. Van Buren, senior linebacker Darren Mays, he'll be one of the top linebackers and one of the top defensive players in the 6A West. Tremendous athlete, getting college offers. He's going to be one to watch for Van Buren. And of course, Alma, senior Samuel Schlegel. He'll play some tight end. He'll play receiver. He's going to play defense. He's going to be the main guy for Alma, probably on both sides of the ball. Remember, he was a hurdler during track, super athlete, one to watch. Number 4, Ozark, senior two-way starter Blaine Childers is going to be the guy to watch for them. Again, another inexperienced team, kind of learning the ropes under a new coach. But he's going to be the guy to watch out for Ozark. Number 5, Fort Smith Southside is going to be very good offensively and defensively with a lot of guys returning. And senior linebacker Ethan Dunn, he's going to have a big year on defense, maybe the best defensive player in the 6A West. We'll see. Senior quarterback Blake Forgren, he's going to lead that offense, and he's going to have a big year for them. And that's the Gimmie 5 recap from Scrimmage Week in the River Valley.
All right, Graham, take it away with your top 5.
All right. Well, the top 5 in Northwest Arkansas, I'm starting off with Hank Hendricks of Fayetteville. He completed 15 of 19 passes for 272 yards and just 2 quarters of action and 1 touchdown. One of his favorite guys to throw to was Katavian Taylor, had 4 catches for 124 yards. He's going to be a big target for Fayetteville this year and is going to have a big year. That's just my first thought on there. Number 2, Shiloh Christian just dominated Springdale in their scrimmage. And, they had to really overcome some adversity really early. Our guy who made the list, Griffin Mason, went down on the first rushing attempt. We think he's going to be all right as of last weekend. Need to follow up on that. But in his place, a guy named Max Eldridge came in, had 3 touchdown runs. Cole Creighton threw 2 touchdown passes to Chandler Kemp. One was 42 yards and one was 66 yards. So Shiloh's got some good players, and we're gonna see that this year. And all things very early are pointing toward that matchup with Greenwood to open conference play. It's going to be a great season with those 2 teams battling it out. Prairie Grove, really impressive with a win against Clarksville. Getting it done with the forward pass, Leland. Coach Abshear's group, normally a big running team, but Isaac Moss had a big touchdown pass to Blake Coran in a 71-6 win over Clarksville.
Wow.
I don't think it was as bad. Like the varsity part of that scrimmage, they just kept the scoreboard going, and our guy Rick Fires just kept it going too. So, but it was Prairie Grove did dominate the game on both the varsity and JV.
Oh, that's far
of
beyond dominating right there.
Well, so then number 4, we've got Springdale, Har-Ber, and Bentonville West both had good showings at the Tulsa Union scrimmage. That's a big deal. I've been to that scrimmage over there. Leland's been over there a bunch. It's a huge. It's the biggest high school stadium I've ever been in. Tuttle Stadium over there in South Tulsa, and just a really impressive facility. And Har-Ber goes in there and plays really well. Talked to Coach Dan and Howard this morning, and they're pretty fired up about week 1. I know Bentonville West is too. Bryce Owens for Har-Ber, the quarterback. Trey Thompson for Bentonville West. Both had big nights. And then I'm going to go to my boys in Western Benton County, the Gravette Lions, with a 10-0 shutout at Siloam Springs. J.D. Beam. Well, that's a name, isn't it? Been playing since he was a freshman. He had a big night. And then Cade Phillips had an interception. Brody Bohannon, Coach Kelby Bohannon's son, with the 39-yard field goal to get Gravette on the board. Beam had a touchdown run later. Gravette Lions, they're going to be making a roar in that 4A1 conference this year. So that is my top 5 for Northwest Arkansas.
All right. Well, there's so much to look forward to for this upcoming football season. If you want to take a deeper dive into some of the teams we mentioned on this podcast, don't forget to check out our documentary series, Road Trip, where we meet players and teams on their home turf. We'll see you next week on Tuesday because it's Labor Day, but we hope that you watch our first episode coming out this Thursday about Greenwood football. All right, guys.
You get Labor Day off?
Of course I do.
Leland doesn't get Labor Day off.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's football.
Exactly.
We hope all you guys get a chance to go out and watch some football this Friday night, and we'll be back next week to recount it, I guess. Recap it.
See you then.
Ultimately, if you don't perform, then it really doesn't matter what you're labeled as.
We can certainly remember the games that we've been beat, and fortunately there haven't been many of those here.
If you don't like football, then this is not your place to be.
Our defense is ready.